I just shot my mother and
I just shot my mother.
I committed a double homicide.
I just shot a little son of a bitch in my house.
I just shot a little son of a bitch in my house. Oh my God. Well, what do you think Thanksgiving's like at that house? Give me my fucking turkey pot pie.
Who is it to you?
He's my wife's grandson.
Oh, he's not my blood. And you can hear him whimpering in the background.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer, here to serve your viewing needs. Along with me is our content genius, Michael Rivers, behind the camera and behind every idea this channel puts out. Today we're reacting to shocking 911 calls, and it's something to be a dispatcher getting these calls, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But before we get into this episode, guess what? I'm going to give you some news that's kind of crazy. This is brought to you by eSign.com. Can you believe it? eSign.com. Hell of a company, great sponsor, great partner to CLR, an easy way to remotely sign documents. So if you have a power of attorney or you have any kind of document, a sales agreement, rental agreement, any kind of business agreement, any kind of document, no matter what it is, you can have it done by eSign. You download the app and you get 3 free signatures a month. It's an effective way to remotely do business or to just get any kind of document signed. I use it all the time for retainer agreements, for powers of attorney. So if you are in need of any kind of electronic signature, use eSign. Even if you don't have an immediate need for it, just download the app because then you have it when you need it. And sometimes time is of the essence when it comes to a business deal. If somebody comes to me and says, oh, I can do this, but so-and-so will do it for this. So how about if I just send you a retainer agreement right now and we sign it and we get the deal done? If you are a 911 operator, you are trained to deal with very difficult situations. Very few people call 911 just to talk. And if they do that, they're probably got some mental health problems and need some counseling. It's usually some kind of crazy scenario or dangerous scenario or life and death, most of the time. So let's just dive into what our content genius has laid out for us.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
I just shot my mother and
I just shot my mother.
You shot your mother?
I committed a double homicide.
Okay, you shot your mom and who?
Right away, he admits to murder. A homicide. There's a difference between homicide and murder. Homicide is death at the hands of another. Murder is the intentional or unintentional illegal killing of another person. And homicide doesn't always mean that somebody died illegally. You could die by a homicide and it could be self-defense.
Nephew.
What happened?
I lost my mind.
Do you know if they are they alive at this point?
I don't think so. I shot him multiple times.
So when he says he lost his mind, getting angry or pissed off or just losing your shit is not grounds for any kind of mental health defense. Him calling 911 and admitting to what he did in this calm fashion sort of negates any kind of mental health defense.
Okay, where are you right now, sir?
My home.
Okay.
What was my home?
What did you shoot them with?
A .308 rifle.
Where is that gun now?
.308, that's fucking deer rifle. And let me tell you, that's a bloody mess. That is a bloody, bloody mess. It's a very large round. And anyway, I'm not going to go into the gory details. But there's no sense that you could say it was a mistake with a .308. Sorry, just that's not an option for him.
Now.
That's on the ground.
And are you inside now?
I'm ready to surrender. I don't give a shit about this life anymore. I don't care.
So when you hear him say, I don't give a shit about this life anymore, that's somebody that, could be suicidal. So the cops, I guarantee you the SWAT team's going to show up. I guarantee you that their guns are going to be drawn, and they have to deal with this with a lot of care.
Okay, I don't want you to kill yourself.
Yeah, I know. You want your case.
No.
You want your case. I mean, the 911 operator's job at this point is to try to avoid any further loss of life, right? And to protect the officers. So they want to make sure that he doesn't have the gun and that he stays on the phone so they can keep kind of tabs on what he's doing.
Oh, no, sir, that's not what I'm getting at.
Great.
Are you inside or outside?
I'm smoking a cigarette in the garage. My last cigarette, I suppose.
Are you armed at all now?
I don't really respect your cops at all, but...
So you hear him saying, "This is my last cigarette." That kind of expresses an acknowledgement of the predicament that he's in, and that awareness of the wrongfulness of his actions really takes away any kind of mental health defense.
No. If
Okay.
they treat me with respect, I'll go ahead and be a prisoner. That's fine.
Can I ask your date of birth, sir?
I don't remember.
You went crazy. You had some kind of mental break.
Well, I'm going to open the garage door. I can't believe I did.
You'd have to do a full, like from a defense perspective. This is almost impossible to defend, right? So when you are thinking about defending this case, the first thing you do is have a full psych eval. And I think I've talked about this before. There's a competency evaluation, and then there's also the McNaughton, right from wrong kind of evaluation. Did I know was I insanity? In other words, was I insane at the time, laboring under a mental health condition so much so that I couldn't control my actions, or that I didn't know I was wrong or right? And am I able to aid in my defense? And so those are the two competing. He's so lucid here that it's almost impossible to suggest that he didn't know what he was doing. And that's exactly what he did. He did try to use a mental health defense, which did not work. And his name is Adrian Wallace, who's out of Oregon, and he wound up getting a life sentence without the possibility of parole. And there was a social worker, he had some mental health stuff in his background. But just because you've got some mental health problems does not mean that you necessarily qualify for a mental health defense, where it absolves you of responsibility. And even if he was not guilty by reason of mental illness, guess where he goes? He gets committed. So he goes into a state facility regardless. All right, so let's go to the next one. We'll do a few of these. The next one is, let's just go.
911, tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. Said he had just came from a neighbor's house. Her name is Jody Hildebrand, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's got tape around his leg. He's emaciated, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
So imagine being the home that little boy comes to. Knowing there's been some shit going on at that house next door over the years, and all of a sudden this boy comes to you with a story.
He asked us to call the police.
What's
So
his
he's
name?
very afraid. He's 12 years old.
Does he know his mom's name?
Ruby Frankie?
Does he seem to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
I don't think so.
Need an ambulance?
So if you remember, we did a reaction to the Ruby Frankie case. Remember these are the YouTubers who were doing their thing, and they were Mr. and Ms. Two ladies who were parenting experts. This is the 911 call from that case. Imagine, children are so fucking precious to begin with. I don't care if they're little shits and they piss you off or not. You don't. Number one, you don't hit them, and there's nothing that can't be solved with words and other kinds of discipline. You don't tape them. You don't deprive them of food. You don't mistreat children. That Ruby Frankie, she's in fucking jail right now, where she belongs. When it comes to abuse of children, I don't think anything is much worse than that.
I don't think he needs an ambulance. His ankles are taped up, and he won't tell us why. He has duct taped around each ankle.
Can I just a parenting tip, just off the cuff, and I haven't read a book on this or anything, but no duct tape around your kid's ankles is ever warranted. I'm just spitballing that one. Give me a fucking break.
Doors around him. I think there's a good chance he's been. Oh, and he has them around his ankles. His wrists as well. Okay, this boy he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
Covered in fucking wounds. And what gall for this woman to hold herself out as a parenting expert. Meanwhile, she's taping her child and depriving him of food.
Okay. Let's get the paramedics headed over that way, okay?
Oh, that's a good idea, too.
Has he told
Gee, no kidding. I think so. Jesus Christ.
you where his mom or dad are?
He says he knows where his mom is, but...
Imagine, when the gig is up, when all of a sudden, or the jig is up, and all of a sudden, police come to her and they say, "What the hell is this?" What's her response? There is no good response. A child is not going to lie about something like this. Children generally don't lie. Sometimes they do, and sometimes, I've cross-examined plenty of children. And a jury wants to believe a child. In every kind of child abuse or child sex case, there's always three parties. There's the perpetrator, there's the rescuer, and then there's the victim. Kid's always the victim, right? And the rescuer is always the jury. The jury always wants to try to save the child. So when you start out in a hole like that, they're very, very difficult cases to defend. It's easier to defend a homicide, honestly, than these types of cases. And as you know, that Ruby Franke is still, handling her case, and she's been detained, and she's been denied bond. Because it was that bad. So that was that Ruby Franke case. That actually just kind of shocked me because I didn't realize that's what we were gonna do. See, I don't. These are cold reactions. I just do what my boss tells me to do.
911, state emergency.
My wife just shot me.
Okay, where?
Okay, my wife just shot me. Let me just tell you, if my wife fucking shoots me, you don't shoot people. I mean, unless there is a thing called battered wife syndrome, and that's a real thing. And you could be suffering from abuse after abuse after abuse over the years, and finally you just can't take it anymore, and you snap. That's a real thing.
Where are you shot at?
My arm.
How old are you?
Bailey, stop! 25. I'm an off-duty police officer. I'm locked in the basement. She's shooting through the door. She's going to kill me. She already shot me through the door.
She shot you.
So he's behind the door and she's shooting him. Well, I guess that leaves any kind of self-defense away from her, right? Because if he's behind a door and so there's something separating, there's no immediate threat to her. Or you wouldn't think there would be.
Through the door?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm bleeding out all over the place.
Do you have something, a belt, a shirt, something that you can tie around that, like a tourniquet?
I don't. I really.
That's the other thing, the 911 operators a lot of times are trained in medically too. And they can tell, at least for some simple first aid.
Do you have a shirt on? Do you have a pair of pants? Whatever you have, I need you to take it off and tie it tight. Right where the wound's at, okay?
Let me just say that I don't think counseling is going to help these two. I mean, imagine hearing this. I mean, this is what 911 operators do. They listen to this shit. And, how do they not take some of this home with them, right? And they're sort of helpless. I mean, they can kind of direct some things, but they're listening to this. There's nothing they can do except for get a squad en route and then just try to guide the person on the phone. Oh, he's an off-duty cop. Oh, my God. And to make matters worse, this is not any kind of wimpy guy. This is an off-duty cop who is evidently unarmed.
Sir? Sir? Sir, can you hear me? Sir?
I don't know what happened at the end there. It sounded like there was a bang and the call ends. But, think about that. These 911 calls, nobody calls 911 to say happy birthday or Merry Christmas. Everybody calls 911. Why? Because they either need an ambulance or they need a police department or they need a fire department. Something bad is usually going on. And think about being a 911 operator, hearing this shit, that's what their job is every day, hearing these emergencies. There was a movie with Halle Berry in it. And, oh, my God, that was really an amazing where she plays a 911 operator. Just gives you a glimpse into their lives a little bit. So, and just to give you kind of a wrap-up of what happened in this particular case, Dylan is the guy that was screaming the off-duty cop, and evidently he was armed. And he restrained himself, didn't want to shoot his wife. The cops came and rescued him, and he had a wound to his arm. They had a 3-year-old son, and then when they went to go look for her, she was deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And it's just sad when something has to get to that point. So, and I don't know what was going on between them, but clearly there's some mental health stuff going on when it gets to that point, whether it's abuse on one side or the other, or whether it's just despair because, I had a client whose wife was adult onset paranoid schizophrenia, and she thought people were after her and just wreaked havoc with their lives. And she ultimately took her own life. These situations are not for the faint of heart. They're delicate. And when you have somebody who's trained as a 911 operator handling these things, the first few moments of that phone call are so critical. And to maintain composure, and you hear that throughout these officers or these 911 operators, dispatchers' voices. They're calm. I mean, these are kind of interesting because what are they really? They're a vignette into human behavior, right? And that's really what they are. They're just a glimpse into somebody's life when they're really doing poorly. All right, so this next one, the caption is just, he stopped a robbery.
911, what are you reporting?
Yes, I just shot someone in my business.
Okay, and who did you shoot?
I don't know. There's another one. I got a gun on him.
Was somebody trying to break in?
They broke in the door and was taking stuff out the door.
Let's talk about that. Now, this is not your home, it's a business. You don't have as much expectation of privacy in your business as you do your home. So, and then if you use lethal force, it has to be what? What's the word? Come on, what's the word? It's reasonable. It has to be reasonable in light of the circumstances. So he's sitting there in his business. He's got people that are breaking in, and so let's listen in.
Hang on a minute.
Do not move.
The owner has them at gunpoint. He did shoot one.
They broke in the door, and I'll keep the guy at gunpoint. I'm standing here in my underwear.
All right, so is the other guy bleeding?
He's not moving. Yes, he's bleeding.
So they broke in your front door?
Yes, they busted in the front door.
What kind of gun do you have?
A .357 Magnum.
All right.
Right there, that's what that is. It's a cannon. 357 Magnum is a cannon. And if you shoot somebody with a 357 Magnum, it's going to leave a hole. It's going to leave a big hole. And if he's bleeding, he could bleed out while he's sitting there. Calling 911 is the absolute right thing to do in that circumstance. And not emptying your fucking gun into them is also the right thing to do. Not emptying it out.
All right, revolver?
Yes.
A felony is being committed, right? So you have the right to make a citizen's arrest. But do you have the right to make a citizen's arrest with lethal force? That'll be a question for a jury. But my guess is that this guy was never going to get charged. I would hope not. So, but anytime you use lethal force, it has to be justified under the circumstances. It has to be reasonable. And at this point, he's got them subdued and the threat is pretty much gone. So just keep him there for the cops, probably reasonable. The other thing is sometimes you have a duty to retreat, but that duty to retreat only applies where it's reasonable to do so. And didn't seem like it was reasonable in this case because he was sort of trapped within his own business when two people are breaking in. All right, so we got one more. We'll do one more. The caption of this one is, angry guy shoots his grandson. Now, most grandfathers, you would think, are just nice, decent old guys who just want to take you fishing and blah, 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 right? Well, if you're a little shit that causes your grandfather to shoot at you, what the hell did you just do? Let's listen in.
911.
I just shot a little son of a bitch in my house.
I just shot a little son of a bitch in my house. Oh, my God. Well, what do you think Thanksgiving's like at that house? Give me my fucking turkey pot pie.
Did what?
I just shot somebody.
Okay, why did you shoot someone?
I told him to get the hell out of my house, and he didn't leave.
Okay, asking somebody to get the fuck out of your house and them not leaving is not a reason to shoot somebody. Unless they're shooting at you or posing. You have the right, in most circumstances, where you believe a felony is about to be committed and there's a threat of either great bodily harm or death. Okay? So that's the opportunity in your home, and you don't have any duty to retreat anywhere in the country when you're in your own home. It's called the castle doctrine. But if you're just irritated because your grandson won't fucking leave your house and he's just a little son of a bitch, as this guy put, you don't have the right to shoot him.
Who is it to you?
He's my wife's grandson.
Oh, he's not my blood. And you can hear him whimpering in the background.
Your wife's grandson?
I need a damn ambulance.
Is he alive? Is he breathing?
You get her. I need
Okay,
an ambulance.
where did you shoot him?
You dullard, I need an ambulance. Where the hell do you think this is? This has got to be in the South.
Matt.
I don't know. I shot him in the chest, I think.
You shot him
Shot him in the chest. Oh, fuck. Come on, man.
in the chest?
Yes.
Did you shoot him with a shotgun or a pistol?
Pistol.
Okay, was he being aggressive or anything to you, William?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, well, he was being aggressive. Tell me more.
what was he doing to you?
I told him to get the hell out of my house. I didn't want him here. He wasn't welcome here. To get out.
Okay.
And he refused to leave, so I shot him.
Okay, that's called self-snitching right there. He refused to leave, so I shot it. You can't fucking do that. You can't do that, Grandpa.
Sorry, Lord.
Okay.
Will you please send an ambulance?
Yep,
Did I tell you all this?
Is he bleeding?
Oh, hold on a second. You
Here,
talk
here,
to my wife. Oh, my God.
Is he breathing? Is he
You think that might be grounds for divorce if you shoot your wife's grandson and all he wanted to do was hang out?
still alive?
He's just making...
He's just making noises. Here's the deal. Grandpa's going to prison for, at the very least, assault with a deadly weapon, more likely attempted murder. And so Grandpa and Grandma, I don't have any follow-up to this one other than to say Grandma probably should find a new, mate. And grandson, hopefully he recovers and files a restraining order against Grandpa because Grandpa evidently doesn't like him. But Grandpa sounds like he's going to have lunch available for him for, the next 20 to 30 years. So this is our little vignette into 911 operators and the stuff that they deal with. They're special people. They deal with high stress, crisis situations, and they have to be able to provide a little bit of medical, and they have to be calm. They have to be calm, and they have to give directions that help the first responders, like the ambulance and or the police. And they also have to, because these come into every case. These are 911 calls. 911 calls come in every case. They're not hearsay because it's what gets the ball rolling. So we'll see you next time here in Criminal Lawyer Reacts. We love you. We love you. We love eSign. Make sure you use eSign. I mean, they're just awesome people. And we just love the comments. We love our audience. I see you guys out in public all the time, and I can't tell you how much it means when you guys recognize me or Michael and you give us kudos, high fives, or we take selfies. I just absolutely love it. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer with our content genius, Michael Rivers. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?